February 2020, Russia launched an attack on Ukraine. The conflict has been going on for 2.5 years. Still no sign of stopping. It has even become a protracted battle. A lot of people have a big question. The Russian border is far from the Ukrainian capital, only about 200 kilometers. Analyze. Belarus is closer to Kiev, just over 100 kilometers. And Ukraine is flat, mostly plain. Why has Russia failed to capture Kiev so far? Conflict so far. Ukraine appears to be getting tougher. Just in early August, even launched a surprise attack on the Russian mainland. Hit Russia by surprise. And how did the conflict become what it is today? What happens next? Now, patronizing Russia's initial attack on Ukraine, many people analyze the first is that Putin's strategy is wrong. This is mainly because of intelligence didn't get to know what happened in Ukraine. So much so that the Russian army made the mistake of underestimating the enemy. Just started attacking. The Russian army was defeated in Kiev. The morale of frontline soldiers was greatly affected. Putin urgently clears the door. Tackling corruption in the military. The intelligence community was reorganized. At the same time, make adjustments to combat tactics. And that's when it started. Blitz gradually evolved into a protracted war, and a war of attrition. In fact, the most fundamental Ukraine is not as weak as imagined, and Russia is not as strong as expected. The war begins. Ukrainian President Zelensky gave full play to his role as the actor's advantage. Go around the West lobbying. Won the NATO countries led by the United States. Full support. This month's war budget, weapons and ammunition are open to supply. Even dispatched a lot of elite mercenaries. Support for Ukraine. These mercenaries are nominally mercenaries. In fact, there are many active duty American and British troops. They help Ukraine advise, training soldiers. There are external factors from within Ukraine. His own strength is also strong after being stationed in Chechnya. Except for Russia, the most powerful country is actually Ukraine. Ukraine has a vast and fertile land. Once became the breadbasket of Europe. And when Ukraine was separated, large quantities of weapons and ammunition and Russia looks powerful, but the national GDP is pitifully small. The total amount is even comparable to our country's Guangdong This money not only has to feed the people, it also maintains a large number of weapons. Let's talk about Russian troops. Russia's truly capable regular army, only about 200,000. Most of the others are conscripts who have not been in the army for a long time. About 600,000 of these people, responsible for guarding the country. Except for these regular Russia troops, also has powerful forces. They are the Chechen armed forces and the local military law. As for Russian weaponry, what the outside world Russia has advanced fighter jets, aircraft carrier battle groups, but many weapons, and it's all old Soviet equipment. In response to the war in Ukraine, almost the Qing dynasty, Russia is alone and facing a war. And Ukraine is not just behind the United States. There are also powerful NATO members, so the Russian blitz failed. That's understandable. So, why should North Vietnam fully support Ukraine? Is it just to protect Ukraine? No. They have more sinister intentions. Russia's attack on Ukraine let NATO member states be afraid. Who knew Russia would clean up Ukraine? Will it deal with other NATO countries? Therefore, the United States came to support Ukraine, supported by many NATO member states. In addition to protecting Ukraine, finally, the goal is to continue to consume and even bring down Russia. Everyone is safer when Russia falls. The northern waste state is providing funding, equipment support at the same time. Very tacit. Sanctions against Russia in all aspects. Such sanctions causing great difficulties for Russia's battlefield supply. The war lasted less than a year. The signs of a protracted war, Western countries led by the United States. He didn't want the conflict to end so quickly. At first, the United States only provided some basic combat weapons, like body armor, rifles, anti-tank weapons, etc. It was seen that Ukraine was at a disadvantage. Supplies drones directly to Ukraine, rocket launchers, even precision weapons like Patriot missiles. In 2023, Germany, the United States even drove heavy tanks directly to Ukraine. So for a while, Ukraine seems to be getting stronger. Russia is getting more and more useless. Until the beginning of August, Ukraine has taken an unexpected attack on Russian soil. This kind of sky-defying operation, it is estimated that even Russia did not expect. So far, Putin's military strategy is adjusted. It can only be gradually contacted by Ukrainian military recover forces, Wudong region, and then the puppet government in Ukraine. In fact, before the collapse of the relationship between Russia and Ukraine, Russia is not only defeated the Polish invasion, also helped Ukraine retake land occupied by Romania. At that time, Heru Zhaofu still waved a lot of money. The Crimea region was given to Ukraine. Although Ukraine is now supported by the United States, it seems to be a draw with Russia. But in the long run, win or lose, Ukraine is the ultimate loser. Once Ukraine withstands the Russian attack, it will completely fall towards the west. Home can Ukraine today. Most of the area is in ruins. The population has plummeted. To replenish troops, even the prisoners in the prison were released. Even if Ukraine wins on the battlefield, the West will pay for it, helping Ukraine rebuild. Will Russia stand idly by? If Russia achieves its strategic intentions, the military disarming of Ukraine, national recovery is still not so easy. Even the most basic livelihood security is so difficult. Not all of it went into attacking Ukraine. Goal, only now slowly recover and assimilate the Wudong states. Anyway, in the future, Russia will continue to cooperate if you really tear your face completely. Destroy Ukraine. Those two words are completely closed. As a Russian saying goes, there will be no more peace in the land of blood. Say, Russia and Ukraine share a common ancestor, East Slavic ethnic origin. The two countries are originally relatives. Absolutely can't settle the grudge. Putin may be waiting for an opportunity, waiting for America to weak, or stuck in the Middle East and unable to help Ukraine. In fact, the United States' current German aid to Ukraine is on the wane. The conflict of hegemony involves a lot of American future assistance to Ukraine. Will it still be the same as before? It's really hard. Currently, Ukrainian troops are still fighting in Russia, but this Ukrainian raid, the more you look, the more fantastical. According to Russian media reports, enter the Ukrainian army on Russian soil. There are many Western faces, even a lot of black people. Are these people really mercenaries? And the answer is clearly no. These people, basically, NATO countries are sent to Ukraine for support operations. The Russian pennant has withdrawn the troops of all parties to support. After withstanding the surprise attack, Zelensky watched as the raid drew to a close. Keep shouting West. Release restrictions on long-range offensive weapons. Strengthen ammunition assistance to Ukraine as soon as possible. It's not hard to guess from Zelensky's professor. Ukraine is supported by Western countries. Although a successful attack was launched against Russia, but the end of Kyonlu won't last long. And NATO, led by the United States, will not really let go of the restrictions on long-range offensive weapons. This is one of Russia's red lines. Outside Russia, Lavrov has given a serious warning. Don't expand your tactics. Otherwise, it could lead to a third world war. Lavrov's concerns are not superfluous. Since the absence of the United States continues to challenge Russia's weapons are constantly being upgraded. Once released, use of long-range weapons. The meaning of war is different. It will inevitably lead to the upgrade of the United States is also very cautious. He asked Ukraine not to allow the use of the tactical missile targets against Russia. Although the UK has agreed to Ukraine's use of cruise missiles, but only if the United States agrees. It seems that the United States and the United Kingdom are afraid of being deeply involved in the war. Dare to attack Russia with long-range weapons. A large number of long-range missiles of not vegetarian. It is bound to launch a frenzied retaliation against Ukraine. Russia also has a large number of nuclear weapons. Zelensky had to worry about that. The current Ukrainian attack on the Russian mainland make Putin lose face, even feel a little humiliated. At this point, Zelensky dared to attack Russia with long-range weapons. Putin must teach Zelensky a lesson. Zelensky's raid, just to win the negotiation, has the voice. But here's the problem. Attack on Russia has made negotiations less likely. I really don't know who gave Zelensky the idea. Zelensky also swore, Wu Army, the action against the Russian mainland is an active defensive action, is the most effective countermeasure. Some analysts have pointed out Wu's attack on the Russian mainland, at present, it does not have any positive effect. Not only this could provide Ukraine with lasting leverage. Zelensky's move was a gamble. Once Trump takes office in November this year, total withdrawal of support to Ukraine. At that time, Zelensky didn't know what choice he would make. Now, the US election is just over 2 months away. We'll see